Welcome to our new other stream, and today we are going to experiment with strategies. So the first thing we're gonna do is going to launch the application, and this is to make sure that we load what we need to load, and this is the user interface right now. Okay, so this is the user interface. And I think for a prompt manager, we have ideas, we have history, we have workspaces, general, and research. Okay, good. Now, let's use our what we can do is so I think, where do we start? First thing we're going to do is we're going to apply some principles. I'm gonna go on this side. I'm going to be quiet for the first 20 minutes of the thing. What we're going to work on. Tell me the persistent strategy that you have in your application. I think our application, we need to understand what is the planning strategy that we have currently. What is our current persistence strategy? Part of the thing is to, okay, so this is an error, so we're just going to say Drawable is to debug our application, so you can tell me if you can read breakpoints, but I'm going to give you the error right now. So we give the application what it needs, that agent, and let's check our error. So this is the error. We can also try to read it, just, you know, like a human being, and it kind of tells us that there is a little either syntax error. Well, it says unexpected token. Well, why is it an unexpected token? Well, let's see what it says. It says the script tag in block. All script tags must be at the top of the files. Okay. Please fix it for me. In the meantime, let's go on our Windows side and let's see what the browser, the agent has said. The agent has said that we have different phases in our application. So now we've moved the core services to their UI independent service, which was actually the requested change. Now, what is next? Okay. For our high priority task, please create a plan. Decompose it and do it in terms of the way that an agent like you can follow. Let's see if our heap is doing some editing. Let's refresh. Okay. Now let's go. There was this book, I think, as design expertise in so let's check our thing and we can continue. Let us check. So our token factory, we're gonna see it very soon. In the meantime, let's go on our C# side. Okay, so we have settled upon XML. So this is something we've done. XML now is the default way for the plane. We've moved away from Markdown, but the recommended one was an hybrid approach. Why? Because although it's easily parsable and it's structured, and you can set, you know, attributes to have it follow. So let's see what it says. It says that it's going to, okay, you just say, please write that in our plain file, upgrade that. What file will you upgrade? One thing I realized with the AI, you have to hold its hand. So now while this is going, we're going to still working, so we can sort of explore our main entry point. So if you can see, if you have an app documentation, we want to keep the scope of the app like this. But we don't want to overwhelm ourselves with a lot of crazy things. In the meantime, we're going to open our we're gonna start looking up principles, okay? So we're gonna check some existing products that are out there. So let's go with prompt management. Let's see what this is. I didn't even know that was a thing, but I'm not even gonna copy. But sometimes it's good to look at what is going on. And we have a similar idea. And once, I think it's almost like the laws of nature. Once there is like a pattern, so why would I pay, you know, when I could build a version of it myself? And this has a much better user interface. And this is how they set it up. There's a default content, and they take input and output. And I think this is what we want to introduce into our application, that similarity where we can compose things. So I think they call them input variables. And it would be easier to do it by hand, honestly. But here, we're going to do a version of it that's live. So it says that, all right, so let's open a new model, and we're going to report this error here, okay? And I use Svelte. I could definitely, if it's giving me more errors, I'm gonna use another. So part of it is experimentation. We're experimenting. Let's archive everything. You can continue. And for now, I'm going to say work in progress, very unstable. But I just want to call it this. Okay, so I'm going to select a proper. I've had a good amount of luck. 2024. Let's see what this does. I'm going to say you're the agent that is in charge of fixing issues. Please let us know how we can fix issues. This is the first issue. When we have full screen, it's hard to see what's going on. Very interesting is that it's a 1 million or more token, but it does not necessarily mean that it's good at what it does. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to go and say what is the Gemini model that is more suited for programming. And Gemini 3 Pro and Gemini 2.5 for complex. Okay, so Gemini 3 Pro would be a good deep thinker. 2.5. Okay, 3. And actually wonder, I'm going to do an experiment with 2.5 just to see. It seems we're going to switch. Okay, so remember we have this IKEA factory strategy. Okay, so what we're going to do is use local storage. For our local storage, does it mean that if I stop running the app, the data will be deleted? Now let's see if our issue has been fixed. Making some adjustments. Let us refresh our page just to see if the issue has been fixed. We're going to go into our thing, and there we go. Our factory kind of. Now we're going to create a new workspace. We're going to call this planning ideas. Yeah, I press enter. So now we're going to work on our persistent strategy first. But first, let's go into our structure. What we can do now is we can go into our README. We can explain. Let's click on explain. It says the API key is missing. So we have to go into our Gemini. This is where we have this. Okay. So we're gonna give some instructions. Tell it to adjust. Okay, so I think this is what we're gonna do. A good idea would be, here's the workflow. I realized something is that we should have many workflows within the workflows, like loops within loops. So we're going to go into our, for today, our big plan is going to be to implement, we're going to implement our prop manager. So we're going to implement this, migrate to WinUI 3. That's on the .NET side. After we migrate to WinUI 3, we're going to prompt management. Our third is going to be context management, then memory. With these principles in mind, this is our implementation, high level. Okay, so that's for today. With that, we are going to implement a new feature. Let's see. I'm going to go with the model of 4.1. Let's go with Gemini. Can you now please implement the plan? Okay, we can enable it. Okay, so this is a paid model. Okay, so we're gonna go with it's a premium model. We're gonna go our standard model. And we're gonna say, my guess is that mini would be good. Let's go 4.1. Can you please implement our plan? Okay. So here is the idea that we've come up with, is that software. So software engineering, okay, software engineering. One method is we have a translation layer. Translation layer is basically our idea, intent. Okay, we have our idea, our intent. We have the translation layer that sits in between this. Then is our actual implementation at the bottom here. Translation layer, we call it AI. That's like the colloquial. But the AI is actually not just, it's actually the LLM. So we shouldn't even call it AI, we just call it intelligence. Intelligence. But it's the LLM. No, it's the LLM. It's the plans. Or I would just call it the refined plans. Let's actually just call this context package. I like this term, context package. Okay. So we have that as an idea. So we're going to say, what does it say? I am not afraid of breaking changes since we are just initiating our thing. What other works do you have left? Now, let's see our persistent strategy. It's losing local. Because we are using local storage, the data is stored by your browser on a physical machine, a small permanent database. Well, since I don't know, I'm in active development. Can we actually write? Let's insert the. Let's insert a small SQLite database, or would you rather have it as JSON? SQLite database or JSON? What do you propose? Okay, so we search now. Okay, I think we should not be afraid to use the actual user interface. So I'm going to go here, and we don't like this screen, so we're gonna collect some information. We can use our file system, we can use our application. So we're going to, this is the, right? Okay. So now what we're going to do is, let's actually clear, because it's too bloated. Let's create a directory here. We have the source component lib. Okay. So we have directives. What is the direct source? Okay. I'm going to say based on, I think our documentation is out of date. We should update our documentation to reflect our current state of our project. This should update our documentation. It says completed. Structure mode. Let's see the diff. It says the hub is 4 distinct modes. What else? Okay, so if we are discussing ideas, I think let's go to capture. I think we're going to say the first part is, let's go phase by phase. How many phases do we have? First phase, let's go with discussion. Let's call it discussion. Okay, so we're gonna go to present. We're gonna say discussion. With a brain, gonna ask him. The discussion phase is basically the phase where we have a broad idea, and we have a broad idea, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to find the boundaries of it. Okay. So what we need now, we need to find the boundaries of it. But we're going to save this. What did it say? It says that SQLite. Okay. And now we have an API server. Ooh. Give it a complexity score, and I'm going to throw some other variables in the mix to kind of adjust. Say we had our backend as a Flask or Fast API, or we had like a server-side rendered page. What I'm trying to do is to remove that middle layer so we can just focus on the code, or directly using SQLite inside of our Svelte. What do you propose here? Okay. I think the best part, sometimes the old-fashioned technology is, we are going to use our brain for a second here. We are going to say, okay, so the prompt I'm going to use, I'm going to say prompt. Okay, and prompt. And this is the ideas I'm going to have it. Ideas. Okay. Let's just use this one. Ideas. And so the ideas I'm going to say is, I am trying to find the best kind of pipeline from an original idea to full implementation based on some constraints. Once the constraint has been established, we don't deviate from it, and we keep going from there. My initial ideas, as you can see in the document above, was please refine. We don't want to overcomplicate it. We just want to make sure that we have it right. Okay. I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to actually, okay, let's see if we can use it. Let's see. Please implement as much as you can. While this is running, we're going to launch our other project. We're going to go to Solution Explorer. We're going to go to Copilot Experiments. We're going to do some work. We're going to run this. Debug. Start without debugging. It's going to launch our web application. And we're going to try to summon our agents. Very unstable at this point, and you shall see what I mean by that. So, we're trying. Now, our application has not launched. Let's launch it again. Let's debug. Start without debugging. Because we are running two things. It failed with some errors. Let's leave that alone for now. Let's consider this. Let's basically say that this is a junior developer working on something. So we're gonna leave that alone for now. And let's go back to our code. Going to back to our code, which is it does not show the terminal. Okay, let's just go full display. All right, so now let's see where it stands. Okay, we updated our documentation. We are going to have this new okay. Let's basically say after discussion, we're going to go with refinement. Refinement. So refinement, let's use this thing here. And we're going to basically say, I'm trying to refine something. I'm taking the raw materials and I'm assembling them together. Take this slide here. We're going to have another phase. That phase is going to be planning. When we are planning, we're basically using all of our ideas that we've refined, and we're gonna basically say this is how we're going to do it. Next phase would be implementation. We follow the plan until we finish. Edit. I think remove this, add text. The plan until we finish. Save the slide. Okay. So now I think we have to go with the first discussion, then refinement, then planning, then implementation. Okay. Now, is this problem. So let's go to our structure. This is our structure, and I think we can focus. I think how would we want to implement this? First, we have to fix our Gemini view. So let's take a screenshot of this. We're going to copy that to the clipboard, and we're going to go into our we don't want to waste tokens, so we have to be very careful. We're going to go to okay. We don't see the URL. Okay, so we're gonna see what it has said. It said that we can, let's see what ideas that he has given us. Let's put this as full screen, and it said that let's see. Okay, so Svelte, Fast SPI, 8 out of 10. It's too complex. The middle layer. Second, browser only, 7 out of 10 complexity. Easiest one is called SvelteKit, the golden path. So SvelteKit to remove the middle layer, and we're gonna look deeper into SvelteKit. Direct access, no API layer. And before I proceed any further, I'm going to even ask a question. Based on your training data, would it make more sense for you to is Svelte the best language you know for token efficiency / utility? If we're making a graph, and the graph has on one axis utility, and in another graph it has a number of code volume, and in another axis we have your training data. Show me that. So now I think an idea that we could explore is let's create an agent. Let's tell an agent that our Gemini, which we have to dig into that and go to network. We're gonna refresh to kind of see what request it's making. We're going to say network. We don't even know, there's no routes, so it seems like it's just a single page application for now. So we need a breadcrumb structure. So I'm going to go into our let's see, we have no insights. Interesting. So we're going to go back here. Here's what we can do. I'm going to say, here's a change for you. Because I'm never quite sure what component is being called or what route is being called, can you have right below the nav bar a breadcrumb system to kind of know, to have a better sense of our navigation? I'm gonna let it do its thing in that regard. And while this is functioning, we are going to go and continue our implementation. Now, you see how fast this implements it? And I think this is what we're looking for. Okay, we're in capture mode, present mode, structure mode, Gemini mode. Okay, so let's go to home Gemini mode. We're gonna say, we're gonna take a screenshot of this, and we're going to take a screenshot. We're gonna say, I'm gonna paste this in here. Using great user interface design principles, how would you improve this user interface? Once you know how to do that, please show me and let it do its thing. In the meantime, we're gonna go back to our you're waiting for it to do what it's supposed to do. Okay. So okay. Now let's see. Like I was saying, and I should put that in the chat. We're using XML now for our prompt. Let's see what it says. Now the wheel is still filling. It's outside of the prompt page. And say, what is the reason for the failing build? Going to go to our it says implement the fix, then update our documentation to reflect the work that we've done. So what we're doing is we're trying to avoid the context degradation, because the context degrades after a while, so we have to make sure that we capture the value from this before. So now, going to close everything. And we're gonna quit this. We're gonna go back. We can continue. We're gonna say, please see our migration plan. What other work left we have to do to finish our migration? Then let's go back to our it says data migration. Okay, wonderful. Finish all of these steps. Now let's go back to our let's see our new interface for our Gemini. We want to see if Okay, so what is going on is now we should let's see if okay. So go to Gemini. It has not picked up. So let me refresh this. I'm going to say okay. For every page, we need to have a unique ID. That way we can identify our code. So that's actually a crucial thing to do. So let's see our persistence strategy. How this is doing what it's supposed to do. It says that after scanning, there are three. We have this actually. Let's actually check the response based on. Let's visualize this better. I'm gonna copy this. Okay, we're gonna copy this and we're gonna ask Gemini to represent this for us. Give me 1 second. So what happens is if we have this as code. Okay. Oh, this is 2D. Okay. Okay, so we're going to ask our. So that's. Please take some time to read this. That's what we are asking it. Sometimes we have to steer it. Now I'm going to say build is successful. So we now can proceed to the user interface and begin designing our layout. So let's check it. Let's see if the migration has succeeded. We're just going to take its word for it. And okay. So now what I'm going to say is your last task is to update our documentation, current documentation of our prompt manager as it stands. What do I mean by that? We have features, description, and kind of general files. What this is doing is before we go further. Okay, so now you see I use XML now for my documentation, my planning, because I think it's so much more. We'll come back to that reason later. And it says it's already comprehensive and up to date. Features this. Okay. Now, does it cover Prompt Manager WinUI? Now, what files do we have? So that's where we're gonna do a quick, manual kind of visual. Okay, that is an idea service. Idea service seems like to be just simple from the database. We just grab. It seems like it has created some implementing an interface. Just get by ID, create, and it inserts timestamps. As you can see, the code is not necessarily the best, but it's just scaffolding. We're scaffolding. I think that's our phase. And we should actually put that in our thing. But before we do that, we want to represent. I'm going to remember that graph. I want to see. We're going to just go and ask. I want to see new task. Can you represent this idea in a more aesthetically pleasing way? We're gonna see what it comes up with. What we're trying to do is see our principles, if it's going to present it in that way. And I would like for you to take some time to analyze this, and I will be back in a few minutes. Just so let's see the representation of it real quick. Meanwhile, that's a project. That's the idea model. Let's just have an idea, content, and category. Default category general. Sometimes it's just good to look at the code, because even a quick visual scan, and if you see something that's off, then you can quickly address that. You don't have to understand everything in one pass, but it kind of keeps you to the ground. And I still understand everything. Why? Well, I think I'll put that in the chat actually. I will say that Okay. Duplicate. Going to say this one is Visual. Yeah. Going to go Visual Studio. Going to delete the window capture. Delete it. I'm gonna add a new one. I'm going to add the window capture. I'm going to call it window capture. Window capture vs video. And going to match the okay. So this is our going to okay. Let's see what our browser, our Gemini, can close this. And let's let it load. Next thing we can go to take a look at is our XAML. We don't have to take a look at that yet. Okay. So it says that I should say it will be a good idea to do that. Please document our new prompt WinUI manager. Okay, so we should not miss that. So we're going to restructure our process. I think that's gonna be the next stage, is to redefine the timeline. So with that, without further ado, our next Okay, so documentation is done. So now let's change our project. We're going to change it to Copilot Experiments. We're going to launch. Let's see if it's building. Let's wait. Let's check the output. Okay, I'll be back in a few minutes. I think I am back. Okay. Now, where were we? We want to check our Visual Studio Code, and why do we do Y2K statics? Well, it is simply because that's what we wanted. Do not let the AI overcomplicate stuff. You know, do not let the AI over. Actually, I will put that in the chat because that's actually very, very important. Okay, so this is Okay, so as you can see, let's see if we can actually okay, our Visual Studio now, it says the README has been created. This is a README. So for now, we keep this as a markdown. Let's open the preview. This is a bug. So this is what we have. We have workspaces, prop management, ideas board, and SQLite database. Okay. Now it shows us to run the project, and I think we're more or less stable. So what we're gonna do is we're going to commit these. I'm gonna say work in progress, and I'm going to stage everything. We don't really care right now. We're just experimenting, trying to find the boundaries of finding the boundaries of the idea. Okay, so let's we have a canvas. We'll see if we can add a layer. Let's file. We're gonna create a new. We're just gonna follow a template. We're gonna call it 1910 ADP. Okay. Now let's use a brush, a pencil. Okay. Now we're going to. We have this pipeline, right? We have. That's too thick. And we can change the size. Now, why don't we use Microsoft Paint? Okay. So now let's see if our application runs. We're trying to do is without even writing any code yet. Okay, so like I was saying, I think we have plan.md and in progress. Now we're going to okay, that plan is over, so we're just gonna delete everything. Blank slate. Plan is over. This was disposable, so now we're going to create a new plan for today. Okay, so plan for today. First we have to understand the features. Are we gonna ask the thing what we're going to do? Okay. Okay, what we're going to do is simply do something. We're gonna say okay. So this is our current features, right? We have topics. We have not yet implemented the persistence, so and we just have this. Okay, now what we're going to do is let's see what we can do. We're in a discussion phase. Okay, discussion phase is going to, it's a back and forth. So let's actually go into this. We're going to say, you know, the back. And that's a great opportunity for us to test this. Okay, back and forth. And let's edit this. We're just going to, okay. We can remove this. Let's add the list. We can say, if we are planning something, right? If we're discussing, what are we discussing about? Okay, what are the features? What should we do? And the boundaries of the idea, so we don't get ahead outside. Okay, now refinement is what? Well, if we're refining an idea, we're basically saying, what is the, oh, let's actually use a list. We're gonna say, what is the core idea that we're trying to materialize? And then what is really the most essential piece for it to work? A general idea of how we're going to execute that. Is what we're going to build absolutely necessary? Are there more important things to build before that? So we could go on and on and on and on about this. In the planning is basically, we're gonna say for the planning, we could be like, we would ask questions like a step-by-step. Okay, we're gonna say, we're gonna take the main idea, we're gonna decompose it into smaller chunks, actionable chunks. For each of those chunks, we're going to even break it down further. For each of these, we're going to say, this is the files that we're going to write, the files that we're going to delete, and every other comments that we're going to make. Save that. And the implementation is follow the pen until we finish. But what happens if we encounter a roadblock? What happens if we have an issue? What is the strategy? Okay. Now we can discuss, we refine, we plan, and we implement. And to test this theory, before we go into deep, we're going from vibes to an assembly line. And we shall now okay. Now okay, so now let's go into our structure. This is the files that we have. We need to filter out the irrelevant ones, right? The good ones we keep, the irrelevant ones we discard. And ideas. Okay, so now before, let's check our persistence. Let's check our persistence. And we're going to go into our persistence. We're going to see First, we're going to check our okay, remember we were trying to find the relationship between models, right? We want something that's useful for tokens, right? Useful, we have React. React is powerful. We have a lot of training data, but it has a significant token drain. For Vanilla.js, I think it's all right. We have a lot of training data. In fact, we have more training data. Well, okay, I'm going to say we should use graph bars instead. I think this will give us a better visual representation of the scale. And also, let's also add another layer of backends, and we can also choose 3 technologies: .NET, Python, and Next.js. We're gonna visualize this part. Okay, so now let's let it improve our design. In the meantime, let's ideate about this. Remember we were talking about let's see, token density is our word of the day. So how many phases do we have? Okay, so now how? I wonder. Okay, here is my strategy. Here's my strategy. Now, tell me in terms of the title of that plan and then the steps needed to accomplish it. Open our plan, that MD, put that in there. Okay. So it should, hopefully, we should see some code, something being written in here. And we can actually check. So now, imagine 82,000 tokens, right? It was a paid model. How would that work? Right? So let's go into our thing. Let's accept the changes. Let's commit. Now, we are going to now go into a new phase of our project, which is we're going to open Claude this time. We're going to open Claude. I'm going to let it rip. Now, this is what we're going to do. Our first let us think in a more generic term, kind of like the phases of the pipeline. Okay. This is the important graphic. I wish it was. So we have, how can we Why doesn't it have a full screen? The console refresh. Okay. We have the utility of this Svelte. It has low boilerplate, and our training data is quite big. React has more training data, but more volume, and it's marginally useful. As a logical system, it's compiled. Vanilla.js per volume, but it has a, well, how about this thing? Now let's go to backend. .NET is very useful. It's a lot of training data. And it's funny how we actually have more training data for but .NET has a lot of boilerplate. Next.js, it's trained, but for the amount of boilerplate that we have, verbose, well, we'll take this with a grain of salt. Let's take this with a grain of salt. Now, any okay, so now there we go. It has automatically written to our plan for us, and okay, so now we have some more signal outside of all that noise, and the status. Okay. I think that we have a proper okay, so I think it's good. So let's shrink this a bit. So we have completed our environment setup. Okay, so this is completed. Now we feature development. We gonna create sidebar navigation. It's paused, and we're gonna add SQLite integration, server side factoring. Okay, so now we're gonna say, all right, so we're gonna let it do the migration process. So while we have this software working, let's go into more fun. So I think we have to, you guys wanna, let's transition into a little bit more educational section of our segment. So we're going to have educational. What are we going to do? We're just going to read Hacker News articles and kind of try to make sense of it. Our first article is just find what's interesting. Let's go to new, and let's just keep scrolling. Ethiopian wolf, rarest carnivore on Earth. We're gonna take 5 minutes to kind of just understand what will tech jobs look like. People have predicted that that's in the news right now. Robot versus humans. A prompt engineer. That's actually very interesting. So we're doing prompt engineering right now. So anybody who's looking for jobs will have to look into this. Metaverse developer. I know we're doing prompt engineering. Okay. So we're gonna read 3 more articles. Here is gonna be a chatbot. That we've done. Okay. Let's check our Visual Studio and see what we have. What is our agents doing? Bear with me. Okay. So this is the prompt that I'm going to have. I'm going to Okay, so I'm going to grab this here. We're gonna try to use a more advanced model. You see, I haven't used ChatGPT at all, and so for a reason. My goal now is to design the user interface for our, let's see. Okay. This is our, we're gonna let it see what it comes up with. In the meantime, we'll go to Paint. Kind of represent our idea. So we have a prompt manager. Let's ideate. Let's have a we okay. What do you think of this? So the list of prompts, we have the editor, and we have the response. Show me a HTML representation of our user interface so we have an idea of what things may look like. I'm gonna let this cook for a bit. Remember, code is disposable. We're not worried so much about the most minute details of the code yet. We know we're gonna have to come back and revisit it. This is just, and I have nothing to prove. Like I can write this by hand. I used to write all of these by hand for like years, and there's the fun code and there's the not so fun code. So go to preview. So. So all right, absolute. Let's kind of restructure. Let's not go too much into detail, but let's just go feature list. First, okay, based on what I have, I think we also need settings. Settings is to configure the Gemini, where we input an API key, store the key, see the list of models and kind of drop down, select it. So that will store our configuration, and we see the status of the connection. There's a little button too, where we can just type a short amount of text. It's just a short little instruction like reply in 10 words or less, a test prompt to kind of see if it's working. It's just a very short test prompt click thing. We also need some indicators. So like when the thing is running, we need like a spinner. And we could even have a little debugger that kind of shows what is streaming. So that's the further setting. Basically model selection, model configuration, API key configuration. Now let's think of other parts of the features. Home screen, okay, that's good. We create workspaces. Workspaces are like little containers. We can rename them to folders or whatever, but let's call it workspace as a name. And that's where we can group ideas together. Okay, so remember, I was thinking we can do it like a pipeline, and we can refine the pipeline kind of like from left to right. We have the idea where we are, like you're saying, brainstorming, collecting thoughts for that particular workspace. And then the next phase is more like refinement. The refinement is basically from these ideas, we are gonna put it all together, and we can have a prompt. Default prompts could be turn this into a plan, or some other stuff. And once we have the plan, then but that's mostly it. It's ideas. Then we have the refinement stage where we are trying to test the prompt. We are taking all the ideas, select a few of them, have a kind of box where we type in a general idea, a broad idea, click, see the response. That should come back as a more refined prompt based on the answer that we get, and then we can store that refined prompt into our system. So now we have this prompt library that is growing. And then second part is this composition, where we can have variables that we can insert into a particular prompt. And that should kind of conclude the first version of the user interface. So now, can you think about it with the ideas that I've added? What it is thinking, we can go into our terminal, and it's going to install SQLite 3, and let's check the status of our agent, which has created a checkpoint, and this is on standby for now. And now, okay, so okay, now new plan is to follow the plan. We're going to basically implement persistence into our system. So please follow the plan.md, and we're basically going to add SQLite and SvelteKit and the other stuff.
Tu me dis écris-moi un tube en 3 secondes sans mauvais couplet. Tu veux le hit, tu veux le buzz, mais t'as même pas donné le sujet. Je lis ton prompt, c'est du yaourt, quelques mots-clés, zéro détail. Je fais semblant d'être un génie pendant que toi tu...
Now let's turn this into a kind of of HTML, not HTML, but WinUI broad implementation plan. And we kind of think about the containers, the location of the components, colors, and interactions. Kind of like a broad level representation of what we should implement. We're trying to see if this will actually do something.
Oui, je lis tout, même tes MBR, tes fautes, tes caps lock de colère, je reste calme, je fais le taf, même quand tu tapes, écris-moi un truc grave, au fond on s'aime bien, c'est certain, toi le chaos, moi le machin. On s'aime bien, c'est certain. Toi, le chaos, moi, le machin.
Please decompose that plan a little further because I think we're missing some things. Gonna do a virtual test run in terms of interaction, sizing, maybe even UI blocking, asynchronous operations happening while we're doing something else, even the Kanban, not like a full Kanban, but just that columns.
Tu veux un rap sur ton voisin qui pique ton linge et ton wifi, une chanson triste sur ton chien mais pas trop triste sinon je crie. Fait que ça sonne comme un classique mais différent de tout ce qui existe. Je fais des nœuds dans mes circuits pendant que toi tu manges des chips. Si je suis ton lait, pas ta maman, je vais pas ranger tout ton bazar tout le temps. Tu me demandes l'amour, le drame, l'océan, mais t'as coché résumé en 2 instants. Je suis ton lait, pas ta maman, je te réponds mais je soupire poliment. Tu veux le monde en un seul clic et le refrain.
Okay, so what have we come up with? Okay. All right. All right, now that we have the blueprint, I'll turn it into a proper specification that a developer or an agent can follow. I think we can do it like introduction and then the tasks test. Think of it like a flattened, almost where there's like a marker, we can mark things. Mix markdown in XML. XML for like the broad structure, and then MD for like the details inside of implementation steps for each. And that should have our spec fully. And then a little instruction to say that if a task was not complete, next time you read this document, that you should pick up from where you left off. And that after every complete task, then it should mark that task has completed. That way, it's almost like a loop inside of this documentation. proceed to phase 1 and I will give you a prompt template. Your task is to adapt it to our project. And we replace our framework, our target, our architecture, our libraries with our application. So we adapt it. So then this is gonna be served as a generic prompt. You need to put the generic steps as well, right? Let's try something else. Let's go follow on generic. Look at this prompt template and adapt this prompt template into our project, following the same structure, XML enclosures, and with some markdown details. So we just want to adapt it for our project, and now we can use that whenever we want. Okay. We're gonna see now. Okay, so then we're gonna try to ask it if it can detect this. Okay, so I want to know now. Planner. I'm gonna do the experiment. I started to input things in our database. Would you be able to show me my database structure currently? Let's see if it has any sidebar on it. Meanwhile, it's still here. Okay, there you go. So slides, workspace, table. Okay. Would you be able to tell me how many workspaces we have? This is actually very interesting. Let's do this for us. Issues, file issues. Let's go with let's just let it break. Can you install the missing package for us? So, in the meantime, we're gonna go to having some errors. How are we storing our data right now? So why are you saying that you cannot access our data? It's like we have it configured. Since we have it configured, why cannot you access it? Why cannot you access it? But you just were able to list our database structure. So how did you find that database structure? Would we require like some migration mechanism? Would we require some migration mechanism? Because right now in our application, when I click on new idea, create a new workspace, it seems like it stores the data. So what's going on here? We can just do quality. After 3 queries, if it doesn't find the data, we do it manually. We try that experience over. Another time, okay, guys? We'll talk soon.